Clay Branson writes, you guys mentioned Avatar being just like Dances with Wolves, Ferngully, and Pocahontas, and I'm not disputing that, but there is much hatred on the web about Hunger Games ripping off some Japanese book movie, Battle Royale. Other than kids killing each other, the other parts are not even close to being similar. Can we please end this debate and much hatred these Hunger Games haters, Battle Royale apologists have for Hunger Games? Thanks and keep up the good work.
Well, I mean, you're right. I agree and disagree with you. I mean, you are right. There is a difference between the similarities between Avatar and A Dances with Wolves and between a Battle Royale and a Hunger Games. Like, let's play this. I like playing this game. So let's play this game here. I'm going to describe a movie to you guys. Then you tell me if I'm describing Avatar or if I'm describing Dances with Wolves. Okay? So this former military man who is injured in the line of duty gets reassigned to a faraway outpost where there is a native population kind of at odds with the military of his own people. This guy eventually falls in love with one of the daughters of the leaders of the native people, who is betrothed, by the way, to one of the warriors of the native people. He falls in love with her, and then he must decide, when a battle starts to brew, if he's going to side with his own people or side with the native population against his own people. Did I just describe Dances with Wolves, or did I describe Avatar? The answer is both. So there's a difference between, and I could do the same thing, by the way, with Fast and the Furious and Point Break. That's also, so there's a difference between a plot point by plot point by plot point complete ripoff, like that one was, and another set of movies that just kind of steals concept. Now you could say, okay, I'm going to describe a movie. A cop is in a race against time to stop a killer. Well, I just described 500 movies, but that's different. That concept is different from a plot point by plot point by plot point. Now, when we get to Battle Royale and Hunger Games, this is not a plot point by plot point by plot point. However, you can see where the people who complain about the similarities are coming from. I mean, it is a very specific concept. When you talk about the government gathers a bunch of unwilling children, go to this isolated area, who must now, over a course of a few days in the wilderness, fight to the death until only one remains. That is a pretty specific concept, very different from a cop is on a race against time to stop a killer. Right. So while you're right, it is not the same as Avatar to Ferngully or to Dances with Wolves or to Pocahontas or whatever. But there is, you can see where people are coming from. Me, I don't care. I don't mind, because you're right. After you get by the initial concept of Battle Royale and Hunger Games, they are two very different movies at the same time. So I agree where people are coming from, but they are different movies at the same time. Schnepp, how do you see it?
Well, yeah, I mean, what you just said is true. I mean, you could take all these Mars movies, and they're all the same, because you had to get to Mars, right, and you had to terraform Mars, and so then, everything's the same as Mission to Mars, or name them the Martian Chronicles. You could just say, oh, it's another Mars movie. Right. There's people living on Mars. What a ripoff! I mean, if you want to get that vague, it can get that vague. I mean, definitely, I'm sure the person who wrote Hunger Games, I'm sure they
familiar with Battle Royale.
Read a synopsis of Battle Royale. Maybe I'm not even saying they saw the movie. They just read it online somewhere and was like, "Ooh, that's kind of cool. What if it was young adult style or whatever turned their fancy to make them write the book?" It's definitely. I couldn't say. I don't know if the person's ever been interviewed. The person who wrote the book?
She has.
Did she say she saw Battle Royale?
No, she says that she claims that she was watching television and she was watching, flipping between reality TV and the invasion of the Iraq War, and somehow it blended together into a story about children being, put in a reality show.
And Battle Royale.
Yeah.
Well, there's also another movie
that's what she claims. Right. I've never read the books. I don't know her, so that's what she says.
There's a movie that came out like about 10 years ago. There was like a Session 9, or what was it called? It was like a reality TV show. Where
Session 9 was the Brad Anderson kind of horror thriller. I think you're thinking Session 5 or something like that.
I'm sorry, I can't remember the name right off the top of my head, but it was another contest type thing where people had to kill each other. It was like they were all selected in America. It was a reality TV show. I'm sorry, I'm blanking out what it's called.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about, because I didn't see it, but I know it came out like It's like early 2000s or something like that.
Yeah.
But I think one of the main points I want to bring up here is that, by the way, if you don't know what we're talking about and you haven't seen Battle Royale, I highly encourage you to go out and see Battle Royale. I'm not going to sit here and start a war about which is better, Hunger Games or Battle Royale. All I'm saying is treat yourself to Battle Royale. It is a masterpiece of a film. I really love it.
If you like this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe to AMC Movie News on YouTube. It's free and a great way to stay updated with all the latest movie news and check out our daily show, AMC Movie Talk. Also, don't forget to check us out on Facebook and Twitter to stay in the loop for our special prizes, giveaways, and contests.